Persistent permeability plagues print, hole hazards hamper horizontal harmony, and protective pad prevents plastic pileup. All this and more, PrintFix Friday, episode 237. Let's get into it. Starting off with an individual who is struggling with some leaks here. They've got a watering canteen here that they're working on printing, and no matter what they do, PETG, PLA, doesn't matter, they are still getting areas where the material isn't properly covering the holes and it leaks. And they're saying that in the slicer, you can see some areas that are potentially not being handled properly. And they're already printing pretty darn slow. According to the comments here, they're already 30 to 60 millimeters a second, which seems very slow. They're using Bambu translucent PETG, so I will just take a guess and assume it's on a Bambu printer. We don't know this for sure, but if you are going through this, couple of things. Stagger inner seams. It's a great way to help kind of move the seams around so it doesn't always line up perfectly. You can go to random outside seams, that can help. And you can also turn up your extrusion multiplier. Now, you will want to do this on the printer screen. You can technically do it in the slicer, but I find that it works better on the printer screen where I'm telling the machine, hey, extrude just a little bit more than you normally do. And instead of it recalculating everything to adjust for that extrusion multiplier, it just spins the motor a little bit faster. So you get a little bit of extra plastic. Now, that is going to wreak havoc on your supports and dealing with overhangs. So that is a whole different bag of chips to be dealing with. Of course, you can take the easy way out, which is epoxy, or really any clear spray paint that is put on at a reasonable layer thickness. It's the thing when you're trying to hold water. If you don't use spiral vase mode, your machine has to stop and move. Those stops and those moves, eventually, they create small holes. And we can see here a little bit of water is coming out of the part. Looking here, sparse infill densities, 100%. They're using rectilinear, 6 wall loops. Honestly, just go to as many wall loops as you can. Just get rid of the infill. It will be faster by getting rid of the infill and turning it all to wall loops. Yeah, their support they're messing with, but that's not that big of a deal here. And we can see that they have reduced infill retraction turned off. But honestly, that's not that big of a deal because I want to get rid of infill anyways. Because ultimately, if your machine is able to just do the same motion over and over again rather than small back and forth motions, it will be faster. You'll likely see a fair bit of time taken out of your prints because of stuff like this. But this here, this can be a pain. This is likely from infill perimeters as well as it combining your small areas of perimeters into longer ones. It's kind of odd, but as long as you have a few different layers there and enough thickness, it should be fine. But if you're still getting some level of leaking through this, just up your extrusion multiplier in the print. So go from 100 to 101. You will see some other issues, but you can look at painting it if you prefer, just a clear coat or epoxy. Pretty much any epoxy works. And since this is already orange, we don't have to worry too much about the yellowing that'll happen with some epoxies. Just make sure that it is not a fast cure epoxy unless that's what you want, and make sure that if it does need to be degassed, that you have a pressure pot or vacuum degassing chamber to degas that resin, because otherwise it won't work. And even though it's not the normal resin, it is still toxic. Resin is toxic. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Of course, my name is Grant, and this is PrintFix Friday. We help you get your printers back to printing with purpose. And if you have any issues, you can reach out to us on the social medias. Links are, of course, in that description down below. We have an Ender 3 Pro here. Temperatures look fine, but we've got a bit of an issue on these holes here. Where we've got holes, we've got layer shifts. Couple of things. One, you don't need supports for this. Just turn that off. It's fine. You don't need it. You likely forgot to turn it off. I see that you don't have supports in these areas, or you already took it out. Don't know, is what it is. But this is almost always due to backlash. Because this is an Ender 3 Pro, it is an older bed slinger machine. And, well, they use a direct drive on their Y-axis, and that Y-axis can get loose over time. You've got a couple of different things you're working with. It could be the springs on the bed. basically allowing the bed to shift back and forth, or it is the pulley on the motor and the grub screws come loose and that pulley's able to wiggle. It is only present on the smaller areas here because of the acceleration of the machine traditionally. Other thing to look for is slop in the system. Check your V-wheels. We did a video on this a while ago. It is very valid for this. We'll card to it so you guys can take a look. Check those V-wheels. You want to make sure that they are tight on your V-slot rails. If they are not, adjust those eccentric nuts, you know, so it can work better. But grand scheme of things, if your tolerances are not too big of a deal, this is more than serviceable as far as parts go. I know it's not pretty, but it will get the job done, and if you're just looking to mount stuff, who cares if it's pretty? Just make it work. But I understand a lot of people want their prints to look good. I do too, and if you want to spend the extra time tuning this in, just looking at all the things that could provide slop, and making sure they ain't sloppy. What do you guys think? Is it worth to fix older printers anymore? This is one of those questions that I've had for a long time. Is it worth to fix older printers? Here at the shop, we generally say no. And before you yell at me, oh, you're contributing to landfill waste, I'm not, because we donate them. We give them to the local schools, we give them to local hacker spaces, maker spaces, whatever. We donate them to charity. 1, tax write-off. My accountant loves those kind of things. And 2, it helps them get another life where someone might not have access to a machine at all. But I look at the cost of the labor to do these upgrades on these machines, whether it is repairs, upgrades, basic maintenance. It can get overwhelming, and even at $20 an hour, an Ender 3 Pro doesn't hold a lot of value anymore in the industry. I get if you want to keep this printer, by all means keep it, but I wonder, like, at what point do we say, all right, throw in the towel, enough's enough, call it, and move on? From our Patreon Discord, which you can join at the $10 tier and higher, links, of course, are in that description down below. It is a business-focused Discord server where we hang out often, talk a lot about the business of 3D printing, and try to help each other's businesses grow. So if you are in that small business sector of 3D printing and want to get involved and have a community of like-minded individuals, check it out. We have from Schmitty here, who, the print finished. Don't know if you can see it. Right there. You can't see the print on the bed, but you can see part of the print hanging. And those of you that are older in this industry know what that means. That means Blob of Doom. Prusa Core 1, love my Core 1, love my Core 1L as long as we get these AC controller issues fixed, but working with Prusa directly on it, so hoping for the best on it. This is one of those things that, like, dude, a Prusa hot end's not cheap, okay? Nozzles are like $30-40 a piece for the cheap ones. If you had an Obsidian on there, you're talking 70 to 80. Heat block, heater, thermistor, all of that. So this is why we told you guys for many years. Silicone effing socks. Put silicone socks on your printers. Now, Prusa's now come with them. For many years, they did it. And it was the first mod that we always did. Cover up the E3D V6 block, because when you get a Blob of Doom and it just turns into a monster over this, you can just pull it off with the silicone sock. That is the beauty of the socks. It sacrifices itself to keep your machine running happy. And while it technically didn't protect all of it, you can see how little cleanup work there was compared to what it could have been, and well, how it ended up looking in the end. We're glad to see this machine is back up and running. Obviously, silicone socks are cheap. Keep spares. Keep lots of spares. Keep a dozen spares. It's better to have them and not need them than have to order them from some shady Amazon seller for a ton of money, or you could do what we used to do back in the day and actually print molds for them and make your own, back when we would run machines that didn't have silicone socks, and silicone socks didn't exist for these machines. So you made a mold, you 3D printed the mold, you put mold release in it, and you put in high temp red RTV, and it worked. It's kind of crazy that that process is still valid to this day, and I'm assuming you can probably get Nextruder block designs over on Printables. If we can find some, we'll link to them down below. But honestly, for the price, Just go buy the legit ones, go buy generic ones. They all work the same. At the end of the day, it's cheap insurance, just like having spare nozzles, a spare heat block. Heck, for us, we keep spare assemblies. So that's heat block, nozzle, heater, thermistor, all of it, so we can hot swap stuff if needed. It is not worth trying to on the fly fix something. It's easier just to loosen that nozzle, undo the two connections, drop out the whole thing, put it on the bench, grab your trusty creme brulee torch, now the second week in the row that I've had it handy for you all, and just heat it up. Now, Schmitty got lucky. They were able to simply use the heater on the machine to heat up that glob and have it all just slowly fall off, with only minimal damage to the machine itself. All's well that ends well in this one, but a great reminder that you too should have a sock for your printer. A silicone sock. Not that kind of sock. Get your mind out of the gutter. Help. That's what we got. The sun hardened the resin. What should I do? Ugh. So, resin printers, they use UV light as a photo initiator to set off the catalyzing process to harden the resin. Do you know what produces a lot of UV light? The sun. It's why I don't like going outside, because the sun is a ball of fusion that is just trying to kill me. Don't do this. Keep your printers out of the sun. There's pretty much nothing that you can do. You have to throw away that paint filter that is now full of hard resin. You have to get rid of the vat and put a whole new vat on the machine. You could look at cutting out the FEP, cleaning off the vat itself, scraping away the... Just get a new vat. It's just cheaper. They're like 30, 40 bucks. Call this a cheap learning lesson because you didn't destroy the actual big thing on a 3D printer for resin, which is the screen. The screen is the expensive part, and they're a pain in the ass to replace. I'm sure some company will make it easier, but right now they all suck to work on. So, yeah, lesson learned. I also see a really messy work surface. And remember, resin is toxic. Wear your gloves, wear your PPE, wear clothes you don't care about. Although you should care about this shirt. Shop.3dmusketeers.com with Victoria making her favorite bowl of mom's spaghetti. Mom's spaghetti. I don't really know what else to say other than UV resin, sun makes UV. Two things don't go together unless you explicitly want them to cure. When we have empty resin bottles, we take them outside in the sun. The sun cures the rest of the stuff inside of the bottle, and then we can safely dispose of the bottle. And we still put it in chemical waste because we have a chemical handling company that comes and takes our chemical waste. But it's still one of those things. It's like, dude, there's a huge mess. I'm not looking at this paint filter. I'm looking at the cardboard below it. It is covered in resin that has clearly spilled and clearly gone everywhere. If you are going to work on resin, make sure that whatever light that you have does not contain UV. Please use LED lighting. Put dark curtains up if you haven't already. But I love to know. I'm trying to come up with like constructive criticism other than don't do that. Maybe you guys can help me out there and be a little bit nicer than I expect some of you might be. Please be nice about this. But if you do want to join the awesome crew of people whose names are listed right next to me at the $5 tier and higher, you can join via the links in the description. And of course, come hang out after live streams in our private Discord server. That is all we have for you all today. Make sure to leave a like and get subscribed. It costs you nothing and helps the channel grow. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.